Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to Unexplored Halo. Today we're going to be checking out the mission, The Storm. Now, this mission in Halo 3 was heavily featured in the promotional work and the trailers for Halo 3 for obvious reasons. It's a very beautiful mission, and I do think it's a very well-designed mission as far as introducing the player to the various mechanics and situations of Halo 3. So, without further ado, let's jump into The Storm. So this mission picks up right where we left off from Salvo Highway, and we are riding in one of these warthogs to make our way to the mission. Our mission is to disable the anti-air gun that has been established by the Covenant. Now, right as you get out of the warthog, you can get a battle rifle from one of the Marines, which I think is very useful. However, sometimes the ammo is a bit random, but here it was almost full, so not bad. After that, you can actually check out this area pretty well. You have a lot of freedom. You can fly all the way back to the ending of Salvo Highway and then kill yourself because, you're flying too fast because you're using the flying skull. Over here, I discovered that there is a Marine, a dead Marine down here. There are several dead Marines. If you approach this area, you can find their bodies. However, for whatever reason, this Marine is down at the bottom of this cliff. And there's an invisible little barrier here, but eventually you can fall off like so, and you'll die. Anyways, you can actually jump down onto this little barrier for the old bridge, but there's really no use to it. I just thought it was kind of cool, but obviously it serves no true purpose besides just existing. Don't know why Bungie put it there, but yeah, obviously they put a lot of care into their games. Now, after that, there are these trucks at the beginning that we can actually blow up using some grenades. So, they're destructible. Now, in the next area, you can actually find the Covenant listening to the Prophet of Truth's sermon. And he's talking about the detonation of a Halo ring in the Great Journey. And they're all very intrigued until you interrupt them, like so. And in this first room, you have a small encounter with some grunts and jackals. Now, you can open the door, or you can just go around yourself, and you can take out the Covenant in this room by yourself. If you open up the doors, obviously, you can get some help from the Marines and the Warthog. And the Marines themselves will open up the doors eventually and come in to support you. But I always just did this because, I want to kill all the Covenant for myself. Unless it's legendary, of course. And then in the next area, we come to our first, big combat area, where we have to disable an anti-air Wraith. And there's also another Wraith that'll drop down. Now, there is a very small vacation that we can do here, and it's quite easy to do with one of these wooden pallets. You just have to kind of push it to the edge, like so. And when you push it to the edge, you can use it to jump on top of very briefly. You want to be pressing A a lot. Don't destroy the pallets like my friend did there. Anyways, you want to kind of snug it off the edge about halfway, like so. And then using the pallet, you can kind of jump around this fence. I did want to mention, though, you don't actually need the pallet. If you have a good enough jumping skill, you can kind of make this jump. It's a bit tricky, but you can land on this very small, ledge, and that'll push you off onto this ledge. Now, from here, you have some very tricky jumps coming up, so I highly recommend doing this with a friend because, well, you probably will die until you get used to it. And I will slow it down right about now. And from here, you have to kind of just slowly maneuver your way around these pillars. And then on the edge, you want to jump off towards the next part. And just kind of keep doing this, leapfrogging with you and your friend. That way you don't die, or, you don't have to reset, you just respawn. And eventually you'll make it to the end. But like I said, this is a very small vacation. There's really nothing here. Kind of have that glowing screen that is typical of Halo 3 vacations. Besides that, there's really nothing else besides me just killing myself. But this is kind of a really cool area that's a bit difficult to access. And yeah, there's really nothing much to it. There's a lot of invisible barriers, but hey, it's kind of easy to access. And after that, I decided to try and betray my friend because, well, I was being a dick. And then all of a sudden, the Covenant taught me a very valuable lesson, and that is to respect and love your friends. That Wraith literally shot me from across the level and killed me. After that, I wanted to show you guys how to get the Catch Skull, which is the lone skull on this mission. This skull can be a bit difficult to get in my opinion. It's one of the more tricky ones in Halo 3. In order to get it, you have to not destroy any of the Wraiths. So the key in my opinion is to pick up this missile launcher. Normally, the missile launcher is on top of that building where the Covenant land. However, it got flung off by one of the Marines, so I just picked it up from below, destroyed the Ghost, and then I used the Warthog, which was being driven by the Marines. I always just find it and I drive it around like so. Now, there's no Ghost attacking me, so it's pretty easy to get up here. However, this Wraith will pose a bit of a threat to you, so you have to be quick. But you can use the Warthog to crouch jump on top, and then you can pick up the skull. The normal Wraith has to have dropped for the skull to spawn. After that, you can see the Wraith murdered me. Very rude. But normally, I just kind of come around and I come up here to attack the Covenant. I really love this mission because you have so many options with how to deal with every encounter. For example, up on this building, there is a sniper rifle and a missile launcher, usually unless it gets blown off, and you can use the missile launcher to destroy the Ghost below, or you can use it to target the anti-air Wraith, which is usually what I do. 4 missiles to the anti-air Wraith, and then use the remaining missiles to take out the Ghost, and then 1 sniper bullet to take out the remaining Ghost. Pretty darn good. Then I kill the gunner on the normal Wraith. I just drive around with my little Ghost here, approach the Wraith, and then usually I just hijack it. I usually just kill the Brute inside outright. That way I can use the Wraith a bit in order to clear out the Covenant further. So, pretty easy. This is my strategy when just playing normally and having fun. Of course, you can literally choose any approach that you see fit. The game gives you a wide variety of ways to deal with this part of the mission. Now, I did want to mention, sometimes if you can drag one of these Brutes outside, for whatever reason, the Brute will be invincible. I was thinking about it a bit more because it didn't work here. However, it's happened to me one time and I saw a post on Reddit about it. But basically, I think you want to drag a Brute outside before actually going past the door. So of course the door is open, but you don't really want to cross that threshold and then try to lure one of the Brutes outside. And for whatever reason, he becomes invincible until you kind of progress further into the mission. Now, of course, right here we have some garbage dumps. And these garbage dumps are absolutely amazing because you can make them fly. Now, this glitch is a bit tricky and you will need 2 players to do it. However, it's actually pretty easy if you have elevation. Because we're up on this platform right here, as soon as the garbage dump falls off of the platform, we will start flying. As you can see, I'm just speeding it up to show. But eventually, yeah, you'll get over the hump, you'll fall down, and the garbage dumpster will begin to fly around. And some players can get really good at controlling this. You kind of have to synchronize your movements, but some players can actually use this as a strategy to defeat the Scarab in the next area. Me and my friend, we are not that talented, so we just kind of fucked around and had a good time, you know, just kind of pushing the dumpster off the edge of the world and seeing where it takes us. It's a very magical ride, and it's a very fun glitch to do with a friend. But again, you have to do it with someone. Obviously though, the more the merrier. And then after that, we have to kind of navigate these roads in between the areas once again. Now, my strategy here, because you will be ambushed by drones, and if you're playing on Legendary, these drones can be kind of annoying. However, you can crouch jump over this crate, reach the Cortana cutscene, and all of those Marines at the end with a bunch of rocket launchers will conveniently take care of all of the drones. So, honestly, this part can easily be skipped just by hiding away. And very easy. Now, after that, I wanted to mention that this ship, this is a very well-known Easter egg, but the back of this ship is supposed to resemble Master Chief's helmet, Mjolnir Mark 6 to be specific. It kind of resembles it, but besides that, we get a mongoose here with a rocket launcher wielding Marine, which might be one of the scariest things in all of Halo. During this mission, the Marines are very effective, but there might be some close calls because, man, these guys will fire their rockets fearlessly. For better or for worse, but for me it worked out pretty well. We have 2 anti-air Wraiths to take out this time, and then a Scarab will approach. And this is our first encounter with a Scarab in Halo 3. Of course, we fought one in Halo 2. However, that Scarab encounter was actually very different from how we fight him in Halo 3. In Halo 2, you just board the Scarab, and in Halo 3, you actually have to destroy it, like destroying the back central core. And in this area, it appears to be some kind of old dry dock before it was drained by the Covenant, obviously. There's two, like, elevator shafts, and that lead to cranes. And on the rightmost shaft, the right one on the screen right now, there's a sniper rifle, like you saw me pick up earlier. You can pick up more ammunition for your sniper. This level actually has a lot of sniper ammunition, which is kind of surprising because I think the average player doesn't usually use a sniper rifle on this mission. Now, there are so many ways to destroy the Scarab, which again, going back to why I love this mission, the game gives you so many options to destroy or to take on your enemies. Now, for me, I prefer the good old trusty missile launcher. I use this ghost to quickly approach the Scarab, run on up, run into the back, and punch it. Of course, there's so many methods you could choose to employ in order to take it out. This Marine was an absolute badass. I was really shocked that he survived that explosion. Now, you can also jump on top of the Scarab from these central areas. I tried to do it with the Mongoose, and I got launched sky high. As you can see, this was pretty hilarious. Me and my friend were dying when this happened. But yeah, there's so many options at your disposal. Also, I want to show you on this ship, there's actually a very interesting Easter egg. Now, you can use the flying skull, or apparently you can actually get up here in co-op if you have a few players. But if you go to the very top of the crashed boat, and you jump in this hole, and you look at the back, you can find a very interesting Easter egg. And in the back, we can find this blurry picture, poster of a pirate with writing under it in Swahili that says, "Pimps at Sea." This is a Bungie April Fool's joke about a made-up game, and this goes way back, but apparently Bungie was developing a game called Pimps at Sea. Not really, it's an April Fool's joke that they kind of make every so often, and we can find one of the posters for their not-so-real game. Now, as we move into the next area, you could easily fit a Mongoose through this door. However, there's some kind of weird invisible barrier that forces you back, so we cannot use the Mongoose. Now, in this part, we get this Cortana cutscene, and there's several of these employees on the ground crying or very scared. However, if you approach the employees and look at them, they'll get their wits back together, they'll take out a pistol, and they will help you fight the Covenant. Just kind of a really cool little bit that Bungie put into the game. Obviously, they're not extremely helpful since they're only using a pistol. They're only simple employees, but hey, it's kind of cool. That's how much faith everyone has in the Master Chief. Now, in the next section, we have a lot of brutes that we have to fight, but using the sniper rifle, we're able to make very quick work of them. Now, in the next area, we kind of have a set piece. We can see this construction worker being suffocated by a brute, and he will unfortunately die. And in the next area, we see these other workers get blasted away by these hunters. Again, very unfortunate. But if you saved your rocket launcher and sniper rifle from earlier, this part of the mission is actually surprisingly easy, even on legendary difficulty. Here, the brute chieftain was targeting the Marines and construction workers for whatever reason, so I easily took him out. However, this is unexplored, so I want to know if it's possible to save any of those construction workers. I ran as fast as I could, and I tried to snipe this brute in the head. I missed, but either way, I still saved the construction worker from that brute. After that, I wanted to see if we could save these construction workers from the hunters. And it almost worked, except one of the brutes with a carbine detonated the fusion coils, killing all of the construction workers. However, I found out the construction workers spawn late, so we can actually destroy the fusion coils before the construction workers spawn, and then we can take out the hunters, thus saving the construction workers. All of you guys are very welcome. Now, in the next area, I found a really weird glitch with the invincibility. For whatever reason, whenever I killed the brute chieftain, the invincibility would only stick around for about 5 seconds and then disappear. Here I killed myself, my body and the rocket launcher, too, disappeared for whatever reason. But if I got the brute chieftain close to me, I was able to recover his invincibility. Here I made him rage with the sniper rifle, assassinated him, and we got the invincibility. So it's all okay. And as we fight the remaining Covenant forces in this area, we find another Prophet of Truth, like hologram machine. projecting his terrible, stupid messages. And then we can just kill the rest of the Covenant and make our way to the final stretch of the level. And inside of this little cubby, we can find a missing persons poster for Jason Jones. Jason Jones was a co-founder of Bungie, so we just have a little Easter egg here about that he is missing since the attack on New Mombasa. Now, this poster is also visible in the mission Floodgate, and I actually read the poster in that video in case you're interested if you want to know what the poster says. And as we approach the anti-air gun, we can find some more sniper rifle ammunition, which is very helpful in the final area, as we have a brute with a fuel rod gun, several other brutes, grunts, and jackals. And our goal is to destroy this anti-air gun. Every time it fires, it opens up its cooling vent, so we have to destroy it. I did want to mention there's a very easy way to deal with this on Legendary. There's a little bit of a vacation we can take here by jumping up on that cage. You have to do a very awkward jump, but basically you just jump, hold forward, and crouch, and you will make it. It feels like the game is trying to push you back, but if you practice it a lot, you can get it down. This will despawn all of the enemies like so, and then you can easily destroy the anti-air gun. However, normally, when you destroy the anti-air's gun, the mission ends immediately. You'll notice here the mission didn't end, but if we return and go back, the mission will end and then it's destroyed. We just have to get that loading sequence done for the mission to end. Now, this little small vacation is also possible in reverse just by crouch jumping. It looks very difficult to make, but I promise you it's not too bad, and you can kind of phase through a lot of buildings and check out the surrounding area. But truthfully, there's not a whole lot you can do on that vacation. Also, if you jump on top of the cage, you can access this vacation on the mission Floodgate. And of course, I did show that little glitch in my video about Floodgate, which I'll link in the description below, also at the end of the video. But that pretty much sums up the Storm. And the only thing left is one of the coolest cutscenes in all of Halo, and maybe the best cutscene in Halo 3. As you destroy the anti-air gun, the UNSC opens fire on the Forerunner Dreadnought, and it opens the portal to the Ark. Really freaking cool scene, and obviously heavily used in Halo 3's promotion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys have any recommendations or ideas for future videos about Unexplored Halo, Unexplored Skyrim, Unexplored Fallout, whatever it might be, please let me know in the comment section below. And as always, until next time.
All ships, fire at will.
This